You may recall, if you've been following this channel since it started about 5 months ago, that we exclusively brought news of the Zelda movie in the works ahead of anybody else, later confirmed by other news sources and outlets. But let me tell you, things are about to go wide open when it comes to Zelda, Nintendo, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. We've got some data that you do not want to miss, and we're going to get you ahead of the culture curve, showing you what is coming very soon because the market demands it. Zelda is about to explode. And folks, we're back. We're here to keep you ahead of the culture curve, explaining entertainment each and every day. It's a joy to do so. It's a joy to have you here with me. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to the algorithms when you click it. Yeah, it's that notification bell. All right, we're going to get into it today, talking about Zelda. It is a big, happy news day for Zelda fans, for people who enjoy Nintendo. Everything is positive in this video. You're not going to believe it. And boy, is it positive. This report will start out of video games. This one by Sports Illustrated, a little website they have that carries this sort of content. Please note that if you're a business person, if you're into following entertainment on the financial side of things, most of the outlets out there are not following this sort of stuff. But what we're looking for is we're looking for early bellwether information that tells us how big the most recent Zelda game is getting. Almost said movie there, but the latest Zelda game. And then we use those early bellwether market pieces that come in to figure out just what's going to happen. Let's take a look at this. Marco Woots, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom doubles Hogwarts Legacy box sales in the UK at release. Now, again, if you're not following video games, then it's hard to figure out how this impacts the rest of the market. You also may be lacking context to understand just what that subtitle there means. When it says impressive launch for Breath of the Wild sequel, let me tell you, this is so far beyond impressive that this is a monumental event. Here's what this means. When it says Zelda Tears of the Kingdom doubles Hogwarts Legacy's boxed sales in the UK at release, understand that Hogwarts Legacy is a phenomenon video game, which basically was the indicator to Warner Brothers that it was time to reboot the entire franchise because it did so well. Hogwarts Legacy, without even having some of its major consoles coming online, in other words, it's not on many of its biggest platforms until Thanksgiving of this year, it still managed to put itself in the top 10 and will likely wind up in the top 5 video games of all time in terms of sales. When we read that it has doubled that game, talking about the latest Zelda game, when it has doubled Hogwarts Legacy, this is mind-blowing numbers. That's what this is. This is you can't believe it kind of numbers. But unless you're willing to dig into data coming out of the UK in a highly niche kind of area here, well, you're not going to know about this sort of thing. Or you can just come to channels like this, and I'll explain it to you. Let's read. The hype could not have been bigger for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom ahead of its release, and early sales numbers from the United Kingdom confirm that the title is an audience magnet. Tears of the Kingdom doubled the physical sales of Hogwarts Legacy, easily ascending to the throne as the biggest box release of 2023 so far. Hold the phone, folks. This is not going to be the biggest release of 2023. This has the potential to now be the biggest game ever of all time, anywhere, and it's not a multi-platform game. Holy smokes, this thing is killing it. According to journalist Christopher Dring, this makes Tears of the Kingdom the 8th biggest Zelda game in history. I don't know if you've heard of this franchise. It's not small, by the way. So when you're landing already at the 8th spot with a weekend of release in the books, well, you're doing something. After a mere 2 days, it already sold more copies than Skyward Sword. Not a small game, folks. A Link Between Worlds, not a small game. And The Wind Waker, not a small game. Typo, perhaps. This feat makes Breath of the Wild's successor the 4th highest earning entry into the series as well. Breath of the Wild being the previous Zelda title. Again, All this is from physical sales alone and based on figures from the UK, which means that the real numbers will be a lot higher. And this is just part of the global numbers. This is nuts. Nintendo usually doesn't release digital sales figures, so it's uncertain whether Tears of the Kingdom can match Hogwarts Legacy in that regard as well. Compared to its predecessor, Link's newest adventure sold 173% more physical copies, Dring stated. Usually, sequels to Nintendo series don't outperform the original games, though Breath of the Wild's stellar reputation and the much higher user base with a Nintendo Switch compared to 2017 are beneficial factors that might allow Tears of the Kingdom to break that trend. Wow. All right. Well, that's putting this game in uncharted territory in terms of the fervor that is around it. Now, could this Bellwether, could this physical copies alone niche of the market in the United Kingdom, it's highly specific, I'll grant you that. Could it be out of line with the rest of it? Well, we'll watch, but I don't think so. I don't feel that this should be some sort of outlier that is way higher than if you just look at broad digital sales across the globe. We'll watch and find out. But here's what I can tell you. If you're in the market, if you're a partner with Nintendo, if you're, let's say, Illumination, and you're seeing this kind of result out of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you better believe it is full steam ahead. You're talking about now, you just came out with the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it popped you to the third highest, likely when it ends its run, third highest animated feature film of all time. And you're talking about now the idea that Chris Pratt has called it the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. You've got a Zelda movie in development, is what we believe. And the game just came out and it's in the running for the biggest game of all time. And you've got that property ready to go. Oh, it is on. So let's talk now, though, about what else this could mean. Because it's not just that a Zelda movie is, you can put that in the bank at this point. A Zelda movie is coming, and it's going to have a budget behind it. But it doesn't stop there. We're looking at an article now out of Theme Seekers. This one's old, but I want to use it for a purpose. It says, what will replace the lost continent at Islands of Adventure? That's the Universal Studios park that has Harry Potter. Coincidence there, eh? But Harry Potter in it, Jurassic World, other things. And this is all the way back from 2022. Not terribly old, but I just want to show you because it's a pattern here. They're talking about this lost continent area. And it's an area that's essentially unused now. The last major attraction there has shut down. And I believe that's for a real reason. As you're looking at this photo here, it's not too difficult to reimagine that as a temple ruin inside the world of Hyrule, that being the world that Zelda inhabits. And I say all of that because this was an article that was looking at possible franchises that could come into this area. Of course, they've got Lord of the Rings, Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, and then The Legend of Zelda. So I'm going back to 2022 to show you this has been something that's been rumored for a while. And let's take a look at what they say. Last but not least, when it comes to possible replacements for Islands of Adventures, the Lost Continent is The Legend of Zelda. Out of all the possibilities, this one seems like the most sure. Yes, that's what sources are continuing to say now.
Floral, it's time for you to walk the plank.
What? Why?
Because you haven't subscribed to WDW Pro yet. Nor bookmark thatparkplace.com on your web browser to get great articles from great contributors.
What?
With rumors spiraling for years now, not only this, but there's been patented information published showing a brand new ride type in development. This would be a hybrid dark ride featuring a boat ride that becomes a suspended dark ride. So let me explain that. Imagine, if you've been to a Disney park, imagine a Pirates of the Caribbean ride that is then picked up later and transformed into a Peter Pan's ride. That's the idea. So you would go from floating on water to floating in the air. And that's not terribly difficult to do. It's never been done before that I'm aware of. Perhaps there's a ride out there internationally that you all can tell me about, but it would be very cool nevertheless. For those familiar with the Zelda franchise, there are times when the main character, Link, can use a parachute device to glide. And now in 2023, let me tell you, Link can glide for sure. We can imagine that this motion would lend itself well to a hybrid dark ride. We already know that Universal will be including a Nintendo-themed Land Epic Universe. That's the other theme park that's in Orlando. That will be the Mario-themed and Donkey Kong-themed area, which will be a significant threat to Disney, by the way. So the addition of Nintendo elsewhere is a possibility. We will just have to wait and see if it will be in this park. All right. So now let's go into this. And again, we're looking at Zelda potentially coming to Orlando, and you talk about upsetting the entire Walt Disney World model. You've got Super Nintendo World coming. It's already going to be just a massive, massive big deal. You add Zelda and Hyrule to Islands of Adventure, and you could honestly, I mean, this is now a possibility. You could see Universal Studios overtake Magic Kingdom as the #1 park. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or go too far, but these are big, big expansions. These are big properties, as we've seen, and Disney's not answering back. So from May 12th, just a few days ago, here on Theme Park Tourist, a site we like, we've got somebody who was working on sort of a blue sky, pretend kind of thing. But it is useful because they were looking at how could you incorporate the Zelda Hyrule world into Islands of Adventure. And so let's use this as a starting point. I like the fact that they do all these images to show off what the feel of Zelda is. You can see the game there. And then they go to the Hyrule Kingdom, what it's like. And here's what they came up with. And I like this rather a lot, to be honest with you. You can see that they've got the forest area. They've got all kinds of stuff going on. It's lots of greenery. And so that's always a positive thing. But I like sort of what they've got going on here. They've got a show building in the back, and they've got the forest area that's usually your starting point, lost woods. So all around cool ideas. But here's the thing, for this person who came up with this, and kudos to them. I like it. I'm happy, they've got more art here to try to give you some idea of what it should look like. But I'm afraid that this is not expansive enough. Folks, I'm about to show you how big this could be if Universal Studios gets behind it. And why would you not? If Universal Studios has the rights to do a Hyrule Zelda area, if they get the rights to do that, and if Super Nintendo World is doing what it's doing, and if Disney's not going to answer you back, Zelda now is poised to be massive. It could be the biggest animated feature film of all time when it comes out. Who knows? It's certainly on the contention for the #1 video game of all time on a single platform, which is nuts. But why would you not go all out? Let's take a look at what that would be. So from Google Earth now in that prior image we had where they mapped out their blue sky idea, they had the northern bridge. They've got this bridge here, and then they had the forest in this area, and their show building was back here where Poseidon's Fury is. But I'm here to tell you, there's way, way more land available. And there are way more opportunities for Universal Studios to go with this if they so choose. First of all, they already have in place a desert biome feel, and that's great for Hyrule because it has different biomes. It also has a pre-made temple, which, by the way, Poseidon's Fury has effects like you wouldn't believe, and it could be upgraded, updated, and made into a Zelda thing that would be just incredible. They also have this huge theater over here that can be demoed if they want to and turned into an entire forest, theme that around Zelda. But that is sort of as far as the Imaginer came up with on that prior website. But this is not all. And let me show this for context for everybody real quick. So Hogwarts Express is right here, okay? It's right here, and the rest of Harry Potter World is over in this direction. And then you enter into the Lost Continent. So you would put the gates to Zelda right here, okay? And then this area, you can do all kinds of things with it, the little bazaar area. And then you've got all the way over here until you get to Seuss's Landing to turn into Zelda area. But that's sort of what was used. But let's take a look at what's available if Universal Studios wants to do it. And we had many requests to go into detail about this, so I'm happy to do it. Of course, you can just take this down if you want to. You don't have to, but you can turn this into forest area. Then back here, we get into this backstage area. And by the way, you see this access road? Well, if this is going to turn into walkways for tourists, then you don't have to have this access road anymore. It's only accessing a very small retail restaurant area. and one side of Poseidon's Fury, which, by the way, can be accessed from the other side if so inclined to do so. Now, you've got some storage and maintenance bays. Those can be removed. And then you've got a parking lot. And parking lots, they're great for expansions, right? Of course, you are restricted a little bit because Hogwarts Express, excuse me, it can't be moved at all, but that's okay. You have quite a bit of space here in this parking lot, and that's not all. If you're willing to go under, if you're Universal Studios, if you're willing to go under that with theming, then you have another very large space over here that is available to you, and you can use all of that as well. And one of the cool things about that is because this area is tucked way back here, you can do a huge show building for whatever you want to do. We're talking about a massive land if we take a look at from this area to this area and then all the way back here. You're talking about a land that is bigger even than the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. You're talking about a land that would be bigger than anything else at Islands of Adventure. And for an intellectual property like Zelda, it seems appropriate. So you have tons of possibilities when it comes to expanding this world. Anything you can imagine with this amount of acreage is available to you. Now, you might say to yourself, well, now, wait a minute, Pro. How are they going to get through some of these areas? For example, how are you going to get them through this area right here? What is currently a maintenance access road? How are you going to get them through there without showing the backside of Poseidon's Fury and all that? Well, it's actually pretty easy because one of the tricks that theme park designers do is all you have to do is lift up the ground around the pathway and put lots of foliage. And because you're next to the building, but you have a berm that rises up around you, you can actually cut off the angle of sight pretty easily in these kinds of spaces. And so it's much easier to hide when you're close up to a building than it is far away. So that actually works out great. Now, here's the other cool thing about if they choose to do this. The other cool thing is right over here, this is Universal Studios proper, the original park. And if they wanted to, I don't know that they want to, but if they wanted to access from right here, going around the roller coaster, if they wanted to access and connect the two parks with Zelda, again, I don't know that they want to do this, but they have the opportunity to do it. And that would be huge if there was some sort of major VIP pass that allowed you to pass between the two theme parks so that they become more or less one. Then you could connect both through Hyrule. And the amount of land is just incredible. Do I think it's going to happen? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think that the Nintendo Cinematic Universe is here? Yes. Yes, I do. And do I think it's going to be massive because of Zelda? You betcha. And why? Because whenever we start seeing something like this, Hogwarts Legacy was transformative in the entertainment industry. It was transformative. It has rebooted the entire Harry Potter franchise. And you're telling me that Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, has doubled its sales so far, in terms of physical sales, it's doubled it on a single platform. Hold on to your hat, folks. That's a big, big deal. And the market tells these companies what to do. And the market is speaking as loudly as you can possibly imagine with that sort of information. It is undeniable at this point that Zelda will be coming. It will be coming in a number of ways. And I think that all of these third-party partners to Nintendo are exceedingly happy. Disney, on the other hand, they better get in gear and fast. Unfortunately, it does not look like they're doing that yet because everything Nintendo is coming at them, and I don't think they're ready. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to those algorithms, and you know how. You just click it, the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. This is not just a dialogue, a monologue for me. No, I want to have a conversation with all of you, so please leave me your thoughts down below. Are you excited about Zelda coming in all of these different ways potentially? Are you amazed that it's pulling these kinds of numbers versus Hogwarts Legacy? Something that I would have thought was impossible. Honestly, I would have told you that there's no way it could double. No way. No way. Seems like it is. And also, if you'd like to consider becoming a member for exclusive content and putting you behind the steering wheel of this channel to some degree, click that little join button. It's the price of a soda. What are you missing out on, right? $3 a month. You can do it. Folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing. And I bet if you have this latest Zelda game, you're going to keep having fun.
Make sure to catch the Pro Show Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time. Entertainment Explained, The Culture Curve Conquered, live with Pro and all his friends.